Hey everyone. Cool. Alright, we are going to get started with the stream now. First, let me go ahead and just post on Twitter, let everyone know that we are now live. Oh, so I need to get my mug for tea. Okay, got my tea now, we can get started. Your not off mic is not off. Well, +1 for the... Tea is important. My on mic. Okay, cool. Well, one of the things I want to talk about first is... I also need to turn on the fan. It's really hot in here. Everything has to be just right. This is this special blend of tea that someone gave me as a gift. Undercog Dev. It's like a mix of black tea and other stuff. It's super strong. See if I can link to it. I'll do it later. Anyway, actually, you know what? Hold on a second. It's called the Undercog Convention Blend. I am not going to PAX Prime. Alright, so anyway, some of the things I want to talk about today is I started posting, kind of want to go over, I was like posting all these screenshots over the weekend. I was just in this like insane state. Feeling super creative, and I was just kind of going crazy with a lot of the shader stuff that we did last week. After we got the lines fixed up, I was just so happy with it, and then this weekend kind of was just generating a whole bunch of stuff. So this was kind of and so I'll kind of walk through it a bit. So this was sort of one of the first things that we started to play with that seemed to have gotten a lot of really positive reception. Oh, damn, blueberry allergies. Sorry to hear about that, Jet user. So this was, we basically like, we're not using any fade away color with the edges. We just kind of kept everything black. Now this doesn't work so well in the game, but it did create the problem with a lot of having so this is these sketch lines are actually all due to the edge detection shader. Just by kind of tweaking a whole bunch of stuff, that we can get these edges to show up very nicely, and they, because we have both you know, we can control the depth sensitivity that's close to the camera and depth sensitivity far away from the camera separately. It really gives us a lot of control. So this was very well received, and I think this looks a lot more like an image from a manga, because I think in comic books, especially the Japanese ones, black and white ones, there isn't, all the lines are the same color, they're all black. Hey, rewind. How's it going? We were just discussing our tea preferences. So, and we also played a lot with doing orthographic mode. It did. Now they actually use the same shader, but what I've done is I've actually split them up into two different scripts, orthographic and perspective, mainly because it does require different values, so you can't, and the thing is, I don't want to switch, I don't want to keep swapping in between, I don't want to like swap to orthographic, tune a whole bunch of that, and then when I go back to perspective have all the values messed up. So I just have them in two different scripts and two different adjustments. So you can see this one, we're still not like super, we're still not getting very clean. So these are actually not artifacts, they're edges there, but we're sort of missing them. Like you can see here, right? There's supposed to be these line hairs to look the same as that one, but we've just completely missed them here. Likewise here. So this actually, as it turns out, was more with the depth values. But yeah, I think this was... I was kind of taking a whole bunch of them as I was working, so... Yeah, I think this here is still... I still wasn't getting it right. Eventually I do come across one that's great. Yeah, and even here, I think because in this case, I was actually I was using the orthographic version of the shader, and I just switched the camera to perspective and took this screenshot, so you can see a lot of the problems are there as well. This, I think, I don't know, I think that we came up with this during one of our streams last week. It was basically just using the screen space position to determine the color of the edge. But I thought it looked really cool. This one's also super neat. Right, okay, so I think this is where I finally started to get the this is where I finally started to get the edge detection right for orthographic mode. You can see it's all super clean here. There's not a single artifact in this image, which I'm very happy with. J King Monarchy, hello! Well, J King Monarchy, if you are using Unity, you know, if you look at depth normal texture, that's... If you're thinking of using screen space post-processing shaders, you do want to use depth. You don't have to use depth normal texture, but that is very, very useful for a lot of effects. And on my blog, if you just Google depth normal texture Unity, you'll find my blog, and I do have a really great introduction for it. I think there might be a few issues, mostly because that post was written back in 2013 and the Unity API has been updated since, but it gives you the general idea. I know someone that just went through the tutorial, you know, went through the tutorial on my blog like this past weekend and got some basic effects working. Hey, Subinfinity! It has been a long time. Thanks for dropping in. I was actually Subinfinity. I was actually just talking about you this past weekend at BitBash, because so BitBash is this festival in Chicago. It was really cool. It's, you know, they were showing a whole bunch of games. It's a one-day thing, and a bunch of the organizers from, not a bunch, I think it was just Ellie from Indie PopCon was there talking about. But Indie PopCon is a show that's in Indianapolis that takes place. It's a convention, not just game, pop culture in general, talking about. So this is Indie PopCon, happens in Indianapolis. I was there. It started last year, so this year was its second year, and I showed the game there last year. I showed the game there again this year, and this year they had these big YouTubers, Markiplier, and I was talking about how I've started getting into streaming, and no devs really have done this too much. And I mentioned Subinfinity, who told me all about streaming culture, and I learned so much from him, just with you know, doing streams at different times, which I will start to do in September. I'm gonna have Tuesday streams a lot earlier, so that people in Europe don't have to stay up till 4 in the morning to watch. So yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, the DePaul kids are all really big in the Chicago indie game dev scene. So yeah. Anyway, I'm super happy with this. Super happy with the way these lines have turned out. So we are actually gonna. I'm thinking about making. I'm not. We are gonna make a bunch of prints based on these images. I'm just not sure which ones yet. But we are doing. I've just sent a few for a test run. So we're gonna start doing that. But yeah, I want this one kind of, you know, have it be you know, 4 feet wide. Oh, Steam request. Yeah, I don't. I don't really use Steam for social stuff. This is another image. So here we're starting to play with finally making the lines a lot lighter, and this is turning out really, really well. Now the problem here is that we actually have the lines go all the way to white, so that's a little bit too distracting. Anyway, this is one of the ones that I'm super happy with. This one I'm going to get printed, and I think I'm getting it test printed at I think 22 inches on the tall side, and then and I think it's like 36 inches wide. Like, I really love the way this turned out. Like, look at that. That really looks like it was just sort of done with the pencil, and it's all. This wasn't even intentional, you know. It's sort of the way the edge detection is doing its thing, but it's turned out really well, and I just love how clean. Like, I love how clean this part is, and then it just slowly starts, like, a little bit of you know, lines here, and then it kind of slowly gets down to here. But yeah, I posted this on Twitter, and then everybody was sharing it, which was super awesome. The fadeaway on depth is not a fog effect. The fadeaway on depth, McPhear. Oh man, okay, well, Sub Infinity, we are going to, we'll probably we'll announce some stuff in the next 2-3 weeks. And of course, I think I probably will be at Indie PopCon again next year. The problem is, like, it's literally right after E3, so we'll see how that goes. But it's actually a combination of the edge detection shader and actual fog. This is another problem that I noticed as we started working, which is that I'm gonna have to close Steam. Closing Skype too. Quit Skype. I'm gonna yes, quit Skype. So this is one of the so as it turns out, this is I was still getting artifacts in one place, and this really bugged me, and it turns out it was just on the staircase of. So this is a ProBuilder generated staircase. In ProBuilder you can actually generate I almost went to quit OBS there. So it turns out it's the way. So ProBuilder has its own staircase generating thing. You can, you know, you can actually create a staircase here. So stairs is one of the shapes that you can generate inside ProBuilder, and I think it's the way that it is doing its mesh merging specifically for the stairs. I think it doesn't weld the vertices, so it actually ends up causing these artifacts. What's weird though is when you stack a bunch of blocks on top of one another, or when you merge them using ProBuilder Mesh Merge, that doesn't happen. So I reached out to them, and they said it's a pretty simple fix. I think it's just that this you know, the vertex welding isn't merging. But it's like, even if this doesn't work, I can always have David just, you know, write our own staircase generator tool, which will be really helpful. This turned out super well too. We might do one of those just for fun. So then finally, one thing you'll notice with this image is that there are no shadows here. There's no lighting, no shadows, and as it turns out, it's actually as it turns out, it's actually so I do have a directional light on, but what's going on is that everything is everything is under shadow because all the replicated instances are also casting shadows as well. So when I realized, so it got a little bit tricky with the current system. So basically what I had to do was, so this is what it looked like when you removed all the other instances. So this is like, it's casting the light. The problem is we needed to actually, well, how do you do it when you have other instances there as well? And what you can actually do in Unity is have separate, what you do is you put the object that you want to have shadow cast on it be in a different layer, and then just make the light, because what you can do is inside directional light, you can actually choose, I think we have a directional light in this scene. Yeah, right? Under directional light, you can actually choose its culling mask, and that's saying, I am not using this massive architecture for shader testing. It is representative of actual levels. Yeah. Actually, in fact, NVIDIA got in touch. They had seen the game, and they were like, hey, they sent me an email, and they were like, hey, let's talk. See if there's anything we can do to help you. So, so we're still a little bit away from that. Like, there's still a lot of stuff that we can do, a lot of basic things we can do to optimize. But, you know, I think once we kind of really start to dive deep into it and really push the rendering, what I like to do is get have David, he's the programmer, kind of doing all the optimization stuff, kind of working with some of the NVIDIA developers to see if we can just really hone in. Because, like, you know, ideally what we want to do ideally what we want to do is have you know, really everything being done inside with the GPU. So that would be super awesome. In fact, they are I think they're sending me a new GPU, which I'm a little bummed about because I like got a 980, no, not 980, 780, 870. Which one do I have? I got like I upgraded my GPU 2 months ago, and now they're sending me a new one. Hopefully it's better. They didn't tell me which one they're sending me. But yeah, so we can also do a lot of like GPU testing, you know, work with them to make sure that it's running super well on their latest graphics cards, and also doing well on graphics cards that are 4 or 5 years old. So that's awesome. Yeah, right. So you can choose which layer you don't want to, you know, which layer you want the light to get affected on. So basically what I did was I just made sure that the main one was actually separate from all the other instances. So this I'm very happy with this look. I think this one was a little bit too bright. This one I think turned out, this one is my favorite. This one is my favorite. Now the problem here though is that it is very, now like when you look at it first, this looks fine. And maybe it probably works fine as a print. But if you start to pay attention, you notice nothing else is being lit. And like those stairs are the exact same stairs as these, and these should be lit as well. And it's a bit of a problem, especially during gameplay, because you'll see the shadows pop in and pop out. Now, the fix for this would be, so this is sort of one of those cases where we really have to, where I've basically chosen aesthetics over systematic consistency, because actually if we are being consistent with the system, there would yes, there is a massive gameplay purpose for all the repeating geometry. That's all of that. Yeah, I mean that all comes in. It's a massive part of the game. It's actually really important aspect of the game. And then that ties into how you want to solve puzzles. That ties into how you go into secret areas. That ties into what the game is about. The right. So I think J King Monarchy brought this up. Right, so now the problem is like when you go, you'll see like there's no shadows, and all of a sudden the shadows pop in, which doesn't look good, right, in the game. Now, so what I was saying is this is one where I've chosen, even if I can get shadows working correctly, you'd want them all to look like this, but it actually wouldn't look like this because this building would be casting shadows on this one, so there actually would be no shadows. But I think having shadows really makes a strong, big difference, especially from when you are inside a building and when you go outside. Like, otherwise, when you go outside, it doesn't feel like it's outside, and that just, it's not, like, it doesn't feel weird. It looks fine that way, but if you see it, it looks fine that way if you've, like, never seen it with this bright light. If you've actually seen it with bright light, then you're just like, man, this doesn't feel right. So now one solution is we can light map this in Unity, but I haven't got light mapping to work well. And it also, like in Unity 5, it just takes like so many hours. It takes like an entire day that it's basically unreasonable for me to work with this. But yeah, anyway, so that's. But I am very, very happy with the way this is looking. She has some more screenshots. Really happy with the way this has turned out. Again, I think this would make just a gorgeous print. Then, all right. So now let's get back to working on the game. I want to talk to you guys. I want to show you guys the runtime level editor. What we've done with that. Oh, Marsh Matter, yeah, the light mapper. We are thinking of two solutions. One is, well, we're gonna look into a little more, see if it's supposed to be, if it's actually gonna work. Just to see if like there's actually stuff with the Unity settings that we can tweak to make it work. Now, obviously, if we can get it working, that would be the easiest. The other one is, and I believe this is what the developers of that Dragon Cancer is doing, is they actually do the light map baking in Blender, and they actually do it on an Amazon server. So like, you know, they can do it on other computers, and then you know you use Amazon server power, and then bring the light maps in. The final option would be basically doing our own light mapping system. Yeah, you know, my thing, I also get like these weird problems with where the seams in ProBuilder are. I end up getting these like really dark areas there that look really ugly. So I think some of you guys seen this. It's our runtime level editor. Now, I don't know if this is going to be part of the game right now. So don't get your hopes up. I am doing this, you know, I'm currently doing a residency at University of Illinois, Chicago with their like new media art program. Oh man, okay. Real Entropy is having problems with light mapping as well. So anyway, this is right. So as part of this residency, I'm actually going to be doing some workshops with architects to kind of get them thinking about the ideas in this game. So you know, so now I don't want to give them the source code and like have them learn Unity, right? So basically, what we can do now, this is all runtime. This is runtime. You can notice. So you know what we can do is this works in orthographic mode. So David, like, I know a lot of people like perspective, but I personally prefer orthographic. It lets me see everything. Right now there isn't a duplicate object, which is actually something that I use a lot. So you can see I can drag this up. Now you can notice the highlighting on the object, right, which is super useful. Currently the vertex colors are all just randomly placed because you don't actually need them. Now there is currently some clipping issues when we're in orthographic mode. That's just with the camera. I can swap between orthographic and projection. Let's go with projection because that doesn't have any problems. You can go in top level, which lets you move this giant, which lets you move the object. You hit G and you can go into geometry mode. We basically stole that shortcut from ProBuilder. In fact, this is actually building up on ProBuilder's basics. You select the face and you can move it along this way. Now we are going to have kind of a gizmo there to show you the direction. It's going to be unidirection. It's only going to be like going in one way because I don't want to actually let you move it up or down. You can choose to see it in all white with the vertical. The vertical lets you see where the differences are. You can rotate around. We can rotate around this thing, or we can choose to rotate the camera, right? Let's see what else is here. One thing I want to add is duplicate, because I do that all the time. Like Control D, I don't have that featured now. But anyway, David's really done a fantastic job with this. Oh, so we need to do we need to make the drag exponential. It's the same distance all the time, which is super annoying. Hey, well, Marsh Matter, Real Entropy, if you guys figure out the right settings for working with ProBuilder, let me know. Let me know. Yeah, because the angles it would create, I don't use it, so there's no point for me to let other people use it, right? Because it's the game doesn't support that. So we don't need to add more complexity. You can choose the row wrap settings, which is really great. And I think you could choose load save. If I go into play, boom. Right, I can see all of that. If I hit escape, I can come back in, out. Let's play with some of this distance. Oh, we really need tab to move to the next one. Did you see that? Right? Oh, let's say I want to see more instances. We are doing something very interesting with the row wrapping, which I'm actually not super clear about. Steam Workshop integration, I don't know. We'd have to, so there's, this is all super fucking cool. Pardon my French. Right? And then you can rotate. So it's I'm basically giving you tools. We're basically building Unity inside Unity, only with the functions that you need to make stuff in Relativity. Right? Because I really want, and what we would do with this is open up all the tools so you can basically make screenshots like the one I made and share it with you, share it with your friends. Yes, I mean certainly there's a problem where I end up getting really ugly screenshots of weird stuff, but I think if we tweak the aesthetics right, then there's really, because we constrain everything, there's no such thing as a bad screenshot, right? I mean, I suppose you could spell poo with it, but you're not. That's not. I think people will make some really cool stuff. So I don't know about Steam Workshop integration. The problem is, right, this game's coming out on PC, PS4, and I would ideally like to have this work in both PC and PS4, and it can be really tricky to get things working well with the controller. I mean, you saw even then I'm using, I'm holding down Alt, using the right mouse button to turn around, left mouse button to move. How do we do object grouping? How do I do multi-select? I have no idea how we can do that with the controller. Now, actually the one good thing about the PlayStation 4 controller is that it has the touchpad. Right, so we can use that you can basically use that as like a cursor. Basically, you have people move it around. I don't think it's ideal, but you know, like you can see like, okay, hit down R2 and then drag this face up. You know, hover over something, hit X to move it, hit X again to move out of it. Pick the face, R2 to drag. You know, X to multi-select. We do also want a window generator, right? The window is also really cool, but again, it's like, because right now the window we're using Photoshop, and then we do mesh generating with thumbsticks. You mean the joysticks, right? Sub-Infinity. I do think so. It's just always so awkward. Like, even playing games on, you know, like I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K15, and just having to enter your name with controller is so painful. What are some other problems? Yeah, no, the window generator would be cool. I think it's very doable. We basically have to have it all. I mean, we just, instead of using Photoshop, we would have to have this like 2D grid, and then you can choose it. It is, yeah. I mean, it might even be good for me, because then I don't have to quit and go into Photoshop. But yeah. I mean, but then it's like you have to have a way for players to save it. This like file system for them to access. Like, it just gets really, yeah. I don't know. You know, I mean, certainly we could do it where it's like we can do it where, oh, that's true, we could do it algorithmically. Well, David Kilmer, I was thinking we could just say like, hey, this is the format you have to follow in Photoshop, and then you upload it. You got to put it in this file, and then that's where we'll pull the window patterns from. But then what happens to the PlayStation 4 players? I don't know. So yeah. I don't know. That's No. I'm not. So real entropy. It's like if we have this level editor, we're gonna probably use Steam Workshop, right? It's like if we don't use Steam Workshop, we're not gonna have this. What I'm saying is I don't actually know if this will be in the game, right? Right now, this is being made for this workshop with architects, because I really do see the game as like something. It's, you know, it's very much about architecture, and this is kind of to engage in a dialogue with architects to get them thinking about how would you make a building in a geometry where the global properties are different than what we are normally used to day to day, right? So that's really all this is right now. I think it's really cool, but to take this all the way to a level editor that I think would be great for sharing with something that would be, you know, that would be great for sharing with players and for them to make levels and share with each other. That's like a whole other level of I mean, that's a lot of UI. Real entropy. Well, where's your level editor at? Because, you know, ours is like, I mean, it is super complex, especially because I'm doing PlayStation 4 as well. Like, just working on the UI of you know, it's like, how would we do it with PlayStation 4? Right? I don't even know. We'd have to look into that. So it's a lot. It's a big commitment, and I'm not super sure if we are ready to do it yet. Right, so now let's talk about water, because water is looking a lot better. Well, okay, so eventually we'll disable it, right? But the these blocks are sort of for us for testing purposes right now. So sound shapes. Yeah, so it's like I've been kind of looking at which games have console level editors. A lot of them have. Yeah, a lot of the ones are 2D. I guess sound shapes. I haven't seen that. I know N++ has one. The only 3D one I've been able to find is Far Cry 4, and that's more of a map editor. I mean, I guess it's technically a level editor, but here I am, like, I'm letting you do all sorts of... I'm actually letting you make the geometry. In Far Cry 4, it was like, place the house here, this guy there. Oh, wow. PS4 and Xbox One release. That's really ambitious. Real Entropy, have you started talking to them yet? Like, do you have a dev kit? It is... You know, like right now we're just doing PS4 and PC, and I have had other consoles talk to me. Nintendo and Xbox both have, and I'm not opposed to them, but it is. I just told them I would love to bring it to as many platforms as possible, but this is my first game. You know, it's a pretty big game, and we want to do everything right. So I'm not even looking at other consoles until we were like 100% sure that the PS4 one is excellent and has no bugs and it's gonna ship super well. So actually, I am going to take a quick photograph of this. I'm going to take a screenshot of this and just share it, post it on Twitter. At the funding stage, Sub Infinity, yeah, you know, everything is backed up, so everything is archived. Real Entropy, are you looking at Kickstarter for funding? There was the new Fig, which seemed really interesting with the why does the floor here look like default Pro Builder? And because I haven't actually added the proper tags and its testing level, this is all just like testing, right? Now, what I do want to show you guys is, right, so this is the water. So you see now the water bending is really quite smooth. Like it's sort of happening. See, I can change the direction of the water. Why am I... Why is, like, this box gigantic? Doesn't this box feel like it's just gigantic? Does this box not feel like it's giant? Like, what the heck? Uh, 10-month out, you mean like it's 10 months away from release? Yeah, I mean, I don't know, I feel like the game, I feel like boxes didn't never used to look this, like, close. I wonder if something happened with my player, object that made it, yeah, where went, you know what it is this, somehow this camera should be a lot higher, and I don't know why, but it got, like, moved further down. Yeah, I feel like normally my camera is way, way higher. Yeah, we're gonna fix that. Normally the camera is like, for some reason the camera right now is like in the middle of the player. And it should be, like, why is it here? It should be like here. Actually, let me, hold on a second. No, I think, I don't know why, for some reason, our camera got, like, lowered like that. That looked really weird. Yeah, for us it's not, though. It's not in the middle. It's always been a slightly higher up. I think the tank over absolute controls makes sense. I have to say, Real Entropy, as someone who has been working on this game for almost 3 years now, 10 months from release, aiming for both PS4 and Xbox One, without their dev kits yet, that is very, very ambitious. Yeah. That's... Yeah, like this, so this feels a lot better. It is, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it. I just feel like that's, you know, my game is taking way longer than I expected, and I've, so, it's basically what other people have told me, and I'm just telling you that now. But, so yeah, anyway. But yeah, you should let me know if you have a new build. It's Spectrum, right? You sent me a build like, that was some time ago. That was like two months ago. Yo, main Jai, chill. There's our water, so you can see the water world wraps. I think it's supposed to be, this feels a lot more natural, like. Right, because I need you to be able to see the top of the box. Right, I don't, yeah, I don't know why it got set like that. I think, something might have happened. So, like, you can see what happens is that stream, because I just broke it off, is gonna, oh, that looked really weird. Well, yeah, the stream gets cut off. Right. Oh, I see. Oh, okay, you've been working on it for 2 years. Oh, right. Well, so, I mean, just to give you an idea, we are, you know, like, I'm probably a year away from release. Yeah. Is it just you? I might look into making a team bigger. No. So like, so this stream thing, the fadeaway is Oh, I see. Right. Yeah, we're not even looking at an ID Xbox One. ID at Xbox. So like, this right. Like, what I would prefer to do right now, what it does is it breaks it off, but you can see it like retracts. It does like you'll see it does like a retraction. Like it's like pulling back. I think what would work a lot better is if I break it off, it does like the whole thing like fades away. It doesn't do a retraction. Yeah, right. So there's like 2-3 months of certification. Right. So like on Marsh Matter, what game are you working on? So like one of the in Chicago, there's a studio called Phosphor, and they've done a bunch of console games. They're like a 30-40 person size studio here, and I met with the tech director when we started talking to PlayStation 4, and he was like, you know, one of the things is you wanna always develop for your hardest platform. So for us, it's definitely PlayStation 4, right? With Steam, it's like you just send them a bill the day you want to launch, and then they're like, okay, it's on the store. How much do you want to charge? Right, with PS4, there's like a 2-3 months certification that we're allowing, so that, you know, that's something that we're setting aside that time for. There's just a ton of marketing. David, fortunately, David has done porting for Oregon Trail and Race the Sun for like every platform. You know, Wii U, Xbox One, iPhone, Android, Steam Workshop, I think. So he's got a lot of experience, which is going to be super helpful. But yeah, what I would like is that when you move this away, this whole thing stays, but it just like fades away. So that's actually what I would like to do. I'm gonna meet with Chris and David in person tomorrow to like go over these details. But I am very happy with. So you can see that gets cut off, but and then we're gonna jump off. And you know what's really cool with the water is we can rotate onto it. And this is what happens to water when it's in, well, I just fell off this bridge. Let's see if I can land back on the water bridge. We have some problems right now with the edge detection where, like, fuck. We need the water to be a lot wider, because I do want you to be able to land on it. So the edge detection only shows up on one side and not the other, and that's because the normals on the other side is sort of facing the same way. What kind of length hours are you expecting it to be? It'll probably be like maybe 6-7 hours on the first playthrough, and then 40, 50, maybe 60 hours if you want to find everything. Build engineering for Windows Phone, iOS, Android. Yeah. Yeah, I know. It is. Every platform just adds so much more additional work. I mean, even the process of like we really should be. We haven't been doing it, but we need to be like exporting builds out to the PS4 dev kit all the time, and we haven't. We've been so busy. Just kind of getting the mechanics of working it here. We even have problems because Chris develops on a Mac. It is pretty hard to get with puzzle games. You know, at this point, I've had like over 1,000 playtesters, and I know that that first level takes on average 1 hour on average, right? And so I know, like, I want a whole bunch of more like that. So that's why I'm getting the 6-7 hours from. And then some of the puzzles are just some of the secret ones are so insanely difficult that, you know. Unity Cloud. I thought Unity Cloud was just for saving. Does that actually help with exporting? I haven't actually, to be perfectly honest, I haven't really looked into Unity Cloud all that much. So eventually what we're going to do is we are going to allow for, yeah, you know what, we need the water to be a lot thicker, because even, I have like a hard time walking in just a perfectly straight line, and I think it's going to be a lot harder too with the controller. Yeah, it needs to be like, I think, maybe, I don't know if it can be twice as thick. Oh shit! Actually, you know what? Let me. One of the things I'm gonna add is that when you hold Shift, you walk, and it doesn't let you fall off the edge. What happens if you gravity shift walk off the side of water? McFear, I'm not too sure what you are saying there. Right? And so you can see that that's green water. Now the lines on the green need to be a lot brighter so that I can actually see that it's green. Just gotta really shift walk to rotate on all sides of the water. You mean just like what? So like, okay, so right now, this isn't such a good example, but so with the waterfall, like if you would just walk through it, right? You would just walk through the waterfall, but the thing is that when you are facing a waterfall, you can rotate onto it too. That's what makes it right? Like while waterfall is in front of me, I can rotate onto it, and then when it's inactive, it freezes and becomes a bridge. I was laughing just now because Jessica, this is really a funny tweet. Maybe if you're watching. First, awesome glasses. Thank you. Second, holy crap, it's real. Yes, the game is real, and also these glasses are real. My eyesight's not very good. So yeah, let's see here. I see. You did not the other two sides. Main Jai, I'm not too sure which one you're talking about. I'm not. Are we talking about the waterfall still? But yeah, this is gonna be waterfall, which is gonna be a big part. Why is that water falling upwards? Oh, you know what? It's not falling upwards. It's just the effect of it. You see, so like there's green water, right? So it's like we're gonna have water in all different directions, and again, it's all repeated. So in this world, I actually don't have waterfall. I have water loops. No, you wouldn't flip onto the other sides of the water. You would just flip it onto its onto the surface. Jet user, pretty sure main GI is just joking. But yeah, I mean, if you just walk over the waterfall cliff, you would just fall. Sure, but actually, I'm curious to know where this green. Oh, why? What? Where is this green water coming from? I think our. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so I don't. So this is kind of cool, right? It's like this entire. Now we do have a problem, which we will get fixed. It's really a minor problem. Is that at the instance where it roll wraps, there's like a bit of a gap. Right here. Come on. Yeah, you can see there's just like a tiny. Actually, it's really not that bad. Actually, no, there isn't anymore. Never mind, Chris fixed it. There used to be this like gap, but not anymore. And the water needs to get redesigned, right? I mean, ideally, well, not so much ideally, but it's gonna look something more like Wind Waker Waterfall. Let's see if I can find a large image, large version of this. Right, I mean, not quite like this, right? But we've got the side ripples. We've got so those that pattern needs to be a lot bigger. There's going to be the splash when you're walking down. Turning perpendicular, you can't. You did. I did. There is no now. There is no side to the water, right? There, the water is perfectly flat. Like you can't. There's no this. There's no dimension this way. You can't walk, but when I go to this, I can rotate onto the side of this. The water is 2D. The water is 2D. Right, yeah, okay. That's what I mean. It's perfectly flat. You actually have to ignore the blocks. The blocks are just the blocks are there to show the underlying logic, and it's more for debug purposes. But it's not like you're not actually gonna see it. So it's flat, so you can't walk to the side of it, right? So it's like when you walk here, you can choose either to rotate onto it. Now the rotation thing is kind of broken. Like for some reason we're not detecting a collider. But what you could do is choose to rotate onto this water, in which case it would freeze, or you just walk right through it and fall. But yeah, as you can see, I don't have waterfalls. I have water loops, which I think is really, really cool. The other thing that I will be demoing soon is I've always talked about there being this gardening mechanic, and you know, these boxes being part of an ecosystem that's part of something larger. And well, I will show you guys what I mean here. So yeah, as you can see, this is a soil patch. It's not going to look like this. It's going to look a lot better. But when it combines, when you put a box in the patch of soil and combine it with water, it grows into a tree, which gives me more boxes that I can use to redirect the water. So that actually becomes a big part of the mechanic. Now, I'm not actually super happy with the way the tree is growing right now. It does like it's just like the scaling. What I think I would like to do is have the entire tree there, and we would just have a shader that goes up. And hey, that was really cool. Did you see that? The waterfall coming back in. No, that's like the main GI. That's like Infinifactory, right? The idea is that yeah, it's too much like Infinifactory. Plus, then you can't actually use the cubes to redirect them, because that would mean like if you're putting a cube to redirect, it would just get pushed along. Now, what I would like is actually for the branch, it should just be a shader, right? A plane. Let's say this is the tree, right? The shader would just be like, it would kind of slide up like that, slowly reveal it. So you wouldn't see the tree scale. You would just kind of see it appear, and then once the entire trunk is done, then we would see the cubes form, and the cubes would scale. Right now they just like pop into place. Well, David Kilmer, I stole this from Starseed Pilgrim, so I did not invent watering plants. Well, technically, the watering plant is my idea. It's the boxes as seeds. That one I stole from Starseed Pilgrim. So you are stealing it from me. Now we have proof. But anyway, I'm loving the water. This is obviously the aesthetics of it needs to change. But once this is done, we're going to be able to do a whole lot of, I think, very, very cool level design. And I think it also just gives people, you know, this kind of opens up like Zach, what's his name? Zach Barth? Zachtronics. He gave this really wonderful talk about design-based puzzles, which is kind of what he does. Oh, yikes! Thank you. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. Apparently you guys are all watching Brigador Game Critique. And this was a gaming talk show, and I just updated it to game development. What was I talking about? Right, so he gave the talk about level design, design-based puzzles, right? Which is that every puzzle, the solution is in design that the player comes up with, and I think that's good. And I think those are really, really great puzzles because they require this like really deep understanding of the system and the problem, and then you invent solutions, which is more fun than like, okay, there's just this one solution that I figured out. You guys didn't want to bring up which one? Oh, the title? You guys should let me know. This is like, I think the rule so far, I don't think I've ever had a perfect stream yet. Like, either the timing, I'm late at the beginning, or the mic isn't on, or the title is wrong, or then something goes wrong inside the stream. So anyway, he had this great talk, but the problem, I think a lot of the problems with his stuff is like, he doesn't actually like design puzzles. He just like makes stuff and then see if people can solve it, or you can prove that things are solvable, but you don't. But sometimes it can be really hard. And I think it also doesn't tie well into this like architecture stuff, right? You end up having to have these like very isolated puzzles, like each one is a separate level. And part of what I want to do with the game is start you off like you in that game. Which game are you guys talking about? Oh, Great Permutator. Yeah, Main Guy always talks about Great Permutator and Logic Box and TIS. The idea is that it would start off with sort of what seems like very Portal-esque puzzles where you're just, here is one thing and you figure out that one solution, and then eventually it becomes much more about this design-based and things open up. But I don't really want it to be like, all right, man. See ya, Real Entropy. Good luck with the development of your game. If you bring all this conversation around back to Brigador, you could pretend this was all done on purpose. Well, actually, McPhear, I will be talking about Brigador. Mostly, I might even show some images from it. So, right? But I don't want it to be like the Infinifactory where it becomes this like optimization problem. It's more you're just using it to solve stuff. You also talk a lot about Talus Principle. That is true. So anyway, that's water, which we'll be kind of working on that, making it look better in the coming days. Now, one thing that is right. Hold on a second. One thing I want to bring up. We are actually going to tie back into Brigador now, so that's all. Not really such a major leap. By the way, if you are new and you're watching the stream and you're enjoying it, you should follow. When am I releasing The Witness? That is an excellent question. When it is done. Let's talk about Brigador. So, one of the things that I was super impressed with Brigador is their in-game debug editor. So look at this. Like you can show right now where you're showing the what's this called? Texture. You can show diffuse, you can show default, you can choose to show normals, you can go into lighting, right? Like, he was showing me this stuff. Oh, right, like, see here, you can change the lighting. You can change the lighting of the directional, you can change the color of the directional light. You can change the color of the ambient light. You can change the directional diffuse, directional intensity. You can change the intensity of the directional light. Let's see what else, right? And you just like these huge changes all happening in real time and at runtime inside the editor, getting you like a completely different look. He was also showing me, you know, like you can also change, right there, they had these like different preset lightings that you could choose from, and just having massive changes right away, and all inside this wonderful debug panel. And I was just like super jealous about it. And I will show you theirs, and then I will show you mine. So, game manager. Right, this is mine. This is mine, okay? Like, what the hell is this? It's not even showing. Right, like, I have these separate panels all over the place. Okay, I have these separate panels all over the place. Every time I want to make a new variable, I gotta hook this up, I gotta get the script. It takes me all this time to like hook it up to work with the MIDI control. It takes me like 3 days just to set this all up. And then you run into the problem of like not enough panels. And then we started talking to David about it, and this is what we are going to do next. Right, this is what, when we've kind of like started a system, and this is what David is going to work on. Give me a second, I just need to find it. Okay, right. So we're basically taking what Brigador has, and instead of having to hard code, like basically we'd have the variable in the script, and all I would have to do is type at the top like expose MIDI, and then inside this we can choose which channel we want to use, and then it just sets it. Because what we do is we would always only use 16 at a time, so then that way we can just automatically, like, it's just always 16 at a time, then it would do the spacing automatically. We hit it, and I just put in the code expose MIDI, and then it would automatically go to this. I can switch between all the different things that I want to change. Come back. Yes. It's it is made with ImGUI. We were talking about that on the stream, and today on Twitter with Omar. By the way, Vavassar, that's not for Unity, right? Let me look that up. Yeah, it's C++. Load-free medium mode graphical user interface for C++ with minimal dependency. This thing is seriously the bomb. Like, I was just... Yeah, it is. Okay, so it looks like... it might take us a little longer. Well, I guess with Unity we have a lot of these, but this is actually so beautiful. Wow, this guy's awesome. Omar, he's my hero. This guy's... That's a... Damn. Wow, look at that. What? Oh my god, you can adjust graphs? Holy shit. Wow. Wow. What? Wow, he's even got a console? Wow. Wow. Wait, there's InGUI and Unity? What the hell? What is this? Did like Casey Muratori? So this is Casey's website. Did Casey Muratori write like InGUI for Unity or something? What the hell? How is that not in the engine? Ah! Come on. Omar has an implementation for... Okay, Jet user, this is not a link to InGUI in Unity. InGUI is the name for the concept at this point. I see. Zohang. Hello! Hello, Latravis! No, it's not. It's really not that good in the UI. Yeah, Latravis, we were just looking at InGUI, because basically, on Friday we were talking to the devs of Brigador, and they have this wonderful in-game debug console that lets them make all sorts of changes during runtime, save it in presets, and versus me with this like super ugly thing that doesn't even let me change values. Like, I set all this up and it doesn't even let me change values. I have to use the MIDI controller. So we're sort of working on one that is we're sort of doing this. Unfortunately, it is an awesome movie. Unfortunately, it is, like, InGUI just has all that really wonderful... It just looks so nice. I mean, the visuals don't really matter, but yeah, InGUI is, like, seriously impressive. Look at all this. You have buttons, you have these drop-downs, you have these graphs, you have, like... one of the things I told David that we've got to do is have autocomplete. I mean, like every time I'm just typing all these long commands in the console, and when you make mistakes, you gotta type that all over again. And it's like every time I start the game, like look at this, right? I gotta, right? I gotta do, like, this is our console, list commands, and then I have to do, show edge ortho, show edge pers panel. Like, this is just painful, right? And then if I want to disable a show edge pers panel, and like this, there's just like such a way better way to do it. Oh, what? I don't think he has the skills to port it to C sharp. I don't have the time to port it to C sharp, Jet user. I got busier things to do. I'm making a game here. I'm managing people. I mean, I probably don't have the skills. But still, I bet I could do it if I really wanted to. Did you not see the edge detection shader and how we got rid of the artifacts? Did that not show you my programming competence? There are. I'm just gonna have David do it. I think David is honestly, you know, it's like it would take me like a month to do it, and I think David can do it in 2 days. So we're gonna let David do that. Now let's get back to. So that's it. So that's we're gonna work on that. That's gonna be super exciting. Yeah, because also if we ever do the if the level editor does become part of the game, certainly I would want I wouldn't give people the ability to change player movement because we'd want to get that perfect, but like I would want people to be able to choose lighting, shaders, playing with all the edge detection craziness like we've been doing. And it just I don't know why it never occurred to me to just have one menu, like one panel with a bunch of menus inside, instead of having multiple panels all over the screen. Like that just, I don't even know where I got that from, since every menu is this way. So that was really weird. And then of course we're gonna have some like common MIDI functions, you know, so like you can change the adjustment speed, you can ignore panels, but then actually, you know what, we might actually never mind. I realized, so this is actually one philosophy that I think is actually really important when you're doing MIDI controller, and if any of you are looking into that, this will hopefully save you some work, which is just because you can change a setting, just because you can hook up the MIDI controller to change a setting, doesn't mean you should. So I would really honestly only recommend using the knobs and sliders before we add a lot of these. So these are buttons, and I was calling them like single press buttons, and I was using them to change modes. And like I was thinking, well, you know, if I hold down this one, then all the knobs would change and be something totally different. That actually gets really confusing after a while. And sometimes it's just better to have it on the screen with the mouse and do like a drop down, you know? So if you want to change how fast you want the speed moving, that's actually probably better to just be like, use a keyboard to type it in or do a drop down. No, players won't require a MIDI controller. If you have one, then it helps. You can adjust it. And the thing with this is also moving it so that you only use the drop down here and only the sliders and the knobs, is then it's not based around this model, right? Otherwise, it was always based on the Nano Control 2. But this way, it's like, yeah, we would only support 16 knobs at a time, but that's just what our game does, and 16 is plenty. So before I was going to have all these buttons on the MIDI control, and now we're not going to do any of that. We're not going to use any of the buttons. All of these stuff, like to pause MIDI, we're just going to put it in this panel. So yeah, players won't require MIDI controllers. So the whole thing with this too is that you can also adjust it inside the screen. I do not use visual scripting. I actually got Shader Forge initially when I was learning how to write the edge detection shader. Hold on a second. Right, I didn't want to. I didn't want to answer. I didn't want to answer your question, so I just left. The about the MIDI controller, right? So it's not. You don't actually need it. What am I saying? Someone was asking a question. Oh, what do I think about visual scripting? I don't. So I got ShaderForge when I was just learning to write my edge detection shader. As it turns out, ShaderForge doesn't let you do screen space shaders. It's only shaders that goes on material, and I think it does work really, really well. But I basically only use screen space shaders for this. I don't use. No, I do have some stuff that goes on the material. To be perfectly honest, I can't think with nodes. Like, I'm so used to, I just never learned that, and it's really confusing for me to just coding it. So I know a lot of people find it really useful, especially people who don't know how to code. What's great is it does offer people who don't know how to code to do it, but like the way you have to drag like this thing in to be the variables, the input in that, just like it always feels too weird for me. I can't wrap my mind around it. John like retweeted a bunch of the images, and then I got like 400 Twitter followers this weekend. It's pretty crazy. What was John saying about Windows 10? I don't think he's I think it's just the usability stuff. Yeah, I don't think he's tinfoil. I mean, that stuff's pretty messed up, man. Like with Spotify, I actually never had a I did have a Spotify account for like 2 minutes once, like 2 years ago, and I was never comfortable with it just because yeah, I just, you had to have a Facebook account, and I didn't want to have it all tied in. Like, I used to use GrooveShark, and the only reason I like GrooveShark is because it didn't require an account. And now I just get my music from Bandcamp. Like, if I like it, I'll just buy it and then listen to it on iTunes. We forget JetUser works for Microsoft. We have a spy amongst us. JetUser, you gotta put we should. Is there a way to tag users in Twitch, like in Reddit? And then we can just be like, we can just put like, just tag JetUser and Treeform as Microsoft spy. Just kidding. Well, no, this is really rough. This is a really, really rough, but, well, it's obviously not going to look like this. It's not going to look like this. It's just going to be, different panel. Like, it's sort of just getting the basic idea of how that menu would work. Inside the game, and then as just kind of, I was just showing some of the stuff with this is more, I made this just to communicate the ideas I had to show to David. So yeah, I mean, these would be a lot like settings, except it's a much more, it's opening it up a lot more, right? Like this is like, I would never let the player adjust the walk speed or wall turning speed, because that would open up the possibility of breaking the game, right? But yeah, the idea is like we would write this, and then we could use the same system for using for player setting menus and all that, right? But this is also, for me, it's really more designed so that once we start doing playtesting again, I can make changes in real time as I'm having people play the game, and then it's going to come in really handy when we start to try to finalize. Yeah. It's basically a debug menu. It's just much better than the one I've had before. But the idea is that we'd be able to adjust values both in here using the mouse as well as using the MIDI controller, and it's going to allow me to refine the movement. Like I can change the speed, tweak it, get the head bobbing right, and just do real time, do testing and get like real time feedback, just to see how all that works. Just to get everything right. So, but anyway, it's almost 10, so we're probably not going to get to do any level design, but I do wanted to show you just to get things started. Someone just asked me on Twitter if my aim was strictly for mobile market, which is weird because I don't plan on doing mobile at all. But anyway, so I want to show you a bit with this level design idea. So I think what I want to do is have this like pathway snaking across. So this is one unit. Yeah, it's probably a bot. But so this is actually a single unit, and the idea is that it would actually just connect down to, it would connect down like this, right? So this is one unit. So this is our repetition unit that we're working with, and it would get offset. So it's sort of the whole world is sort of happening along a slant, and the idea is that it actually wouldn't be on a flat plane like this, but that it would sort of keep descending. So it's descending and moving in a diagonal, and there would be these sort of these giant paths. Oh right. So yeah, one of the things is this is a trick, which is in your layers. You want to disable that so you don't end up clicking on things. I could put my PC on a cart just to be mobile. So again, we're just sort of blocking stuff out for this. But yeah, I'm basically thinking of having these. So there would be like 4 towers, I guess, that you could explore. But the idea would be that each one would actually be slightly lower, or the path would always be slightly lower for each one, so that it felt, because what you don't want is a lot of flat geometry. So I probably wouldn't have it, be down this much, but this path would be actually kind of sort of a fairly. I wouldn't just have it as a step the whole time, because our steps always have to be 40. Our stairs always have to be a 45-degree angle. But yeah, just to have it slightly offset, which I think adds a little bit more interesting, more stuff visually, which makes the visuals a little bit more interesting. Now, in terms of some of the inspiration that we are going to be working with. Jet user, are you still around? Like, so this stuff here. Yeah, so, and I also kind of want to create some walkways in between these levels. But, yeah, that's sort of kind of trying to get at that idea there, like having one tower look like this, another look like that, and another look like this. And this is also an inspiration, which is with this, again, with this tower too, having more sort of windows and then details like this. So that's where this new level is gonna go. And so I'm gonna just start blocking this out in the next few days, because we are gonna be making some big announcements in early mid-September. This is for real. Last time we had to push it back, but mostly that's because the water stuff wasn't ready. But I do want to kind of make the announcement with a bunch of really great screenshots. So I'm hoping to have this level done as well. But cool. It is 10 p.m. now, so I think we're gonna wrap up the stream here. But so tomorrow I will still be streaming at 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, new name, and we're gonna have like a new video, new logo. We're gonna have some wallpapers. By the way, so for desktop wallpapers, we're thinking of doing. Yes, I have seen that. That's actually a big inspiration. Nakai-gin. I went there. I didn't go inside when I was in Tokyo. We were outside. I almost stayed at a capsule hotel, but they don't seem to be very pleasant. Let me see here. What am I thinking of? Right, so I want to have this done. So within the wallpapers, we're going to do like, I guess you have to have all these different sizes: HD, widescreen, standard, mobile, and dual screen. Dual monitor, I think, would be super cool. But yeah, I'm thinking like three different wallpapers would be more than sufficient. And then maybe I can release more throughout the week. Mostly just the. In fact, I think we might even have that as a reference. Ultra wide. Too many dimensions. Like even for mobile, I'm just doing iPhone 5 and 6. But yeah, so this whole thing would be offset slightly, and then we would have it in all the other levels as well. So this is something. So we're just sort of blocking out. We're gonna start kind of continuing with this tomorrow. I'll probably do some of this during the day. I'm gonna be, for the first time, actually working in person with both Chris and David tomorrow, which I think is gonna be great. We've just been working remotely basically up until now, but. Oh, so this one thing is like bothering the hell out of me, which is that the probular lines and the Unity collider lines are like slightly different, and then when you're far away, it looks like they're actually offset. Thank God for live streamer. What's that? But anyway, I am going to. I'm gonna take off, so I will see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you all for watching. If you liked it, you should follow, and I am going to be so this week it's still going to be so Monday to Friday, 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. I know probably some of you are going to PAX Prime, but for those of you that are not going to be there on Friday, we are actually going to be talking to Thew, who is making Aerobat, which is a game I'm really excited about. He is a developer based here in Chicago, so we're going to be talking. So if you're not at PAX Prime and you want something to do on Friday night, we are going to be checking out Aerobat and talking about the design of it. I'm super stoked about this game. It's its own custom engine. He's been doing everything by himself except for audio, I think, and it just looks fantastic. And he's obsessed with clouds. So I think that's going to be a really fantastic conversation. But yeah, Sub Infinity, it was great. Thanks for stopping by again. It really been a while. And I will see you guys all tomorrow.
Yeah.